QualityForge is honored to introduce you to the last keynote speaker of today, Pedro Velhinho. Pedro is a senior SEO specialist at Mindvalley and a digital marketing professional with more than 16 years of experience across different fields of marketing strategy, content management, social media, as well as digital accessibility. He's a coach, writer, and accessibility consulting pushing for a more inclusive and accessible digital world. Inclusive by design. How accessibility enhances SEO and boosts user experience by Pedro Velhinho.
Oh, we got it from our tech guy, Pedro. Once you've got your presentation on screen, he'll know to bring you through. I'm very excited for this. As a marketer myself, I understand the importance of SEO. So it's definitely, you can't have a marketing strategy that doesn't involve SEO. Paid ads is definitely a great direct route, but SEO is the long-term bread and butter of marketing.
This is actually your field of work.
This is my field
Literally.
of work. I'm not an engineer, I'm a marketer.
But okay, SEO, I mean, that's your thing.
It is my thing.
Okay, hello, Pedro.
Hello, Pedro.
Hello. I hope the presentation is going through.
It is. The tech guy, we've got a thumbs up.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the lovely intro.
All right, Pedro, it's very nice to see you today, and the stage is yours.
Yeah, take it away.
Oh, thank you so much. Let's go then. So hi everyone. Thank you so much for staying here, staying tuned to the last talk of the day. I'm going to talk about how does accessibility impact SEO. It's more than you know, and and it's very interesting for me. Just a quick intro. I am blind. I am legally blind. I only see like 1 to 2%, roughly. So it might happen that throughout the presentation you'll see this happening. It's just for me to get my bearings, because although I do have good memory, sometimes it fails. Let's be honest. So today we're going to talk about what is accessibility, which by now you must be very versed on. How accessibility impacts and enhances SEO. What are the intersections between those two? The tools that I use and that are most commonly used to audit both accessibility and SEO websites. And then let's dive into a bit of overlays. What are they and why? What do I think about them? How it impacts the business, and finally the key takeaways. So jumping in, what is accessibility? I'm sure that everyone has a take on this, and everyone I'd say that everyone that works with accessibility and is very passionate about it and has their own version of this. And even though I just pasted this here, I do think that for me accessibility is that baseline to build something very, very inclusive. You don't start to build to create a building or to construct a building with the facade, right? You go to the foundations. And for me, digital accessibility is exactly that, to create those foundations that allow people not just to access the information, but to understand it. So yeah, that's at least for me, that's what it is. This is something that I want you to have in mind throughout the presentation. 2.2 billion. It's a big number. It's a quarter of the population in the world. So according to the World Health Organization, 2.2 billion, I love saying that word, has some kind of visual impairment or blindness. It's a lot of people. And when we because I also design websites, but when we start to do it, we don't think about the reach that the website or that it can have, right? So do have in mind 2.2 billion. I would add one more, because Google is also blind. I don't know if you know this. Google crawlers are blind. They don't care how pretty your website is or the websites are. They don't care how incredible, innovative they are, and they have the parallax and the beautiful colors. They're blind, and when they go to the website, they care about three things: the text or the content, the structure, and the metadata. So the metadata contextualizes what Google is about to see. Structure allows it to go through the content in a very, very organized way. And the text, of course, it's what Google is there for. The crawler is there for, to understand what you're providing and to catalog it accordingly. This being said, why is it accessibility so important for SEO and vice versa? Like they do go hand in hand. When you start to think about SEO, and when you start to go in and change a few things, alt text, this and that, you start to understand that accessibility asks you for, the demands the same thing, the exact same thing. They do go hand in hand in the sense that if you're catering to Google, and if Google does not see, then why don't you go the extra mile and actually do things so that the visually impaired users, and I apologize because I will be focusing on visually impaired users for some reason. Why don't you cater to them and go that extra mile and do those things that are so, I'm going to say, small. There are 13 things that intersect between accessibility and SEO, and I say small because creating an alt text for an image, it takes 15 seconds for image, let's say, if that. So there are so many things that we can do, and we are going to go over them for you to have an idea of how simple it is to make an impact or to have an impact in accessibility and SEO. First thing, alt text. It's so common to go into a website and alt text is missing. I've lost count of how many times I read images that said image.png or image.jpg or 10 numbers and 15 letters .png. So it's so common that who's building the website just puts the image there and does not think about the alt text. And I'm going to say it's okay because sometimes they're doing it like they're doing a lot of things. I get it, but it's not okay in the sense that it's so simple that it shouldn't happen anymore. And alt text, they should be specific in the sense they need to go and tell people what exactly it's there. Not be redundant, because don't say that it's a picture of or an image of, because it's already we know. They need to be descriptive. Really describe what's in the images. And you do have AI now, very good AI that describes the images very, very well. And you can go from short descriptions to longer and deeper descriptions, but they do it very well. And I'm going to jump a few because I'm really eager to talk about the alt text on buttons. Again, I lost count of how many buttons, how many websites keep telling me that the button is a button, and I don't know what's there. I really don't know what's there. So I'm going to share an example. Recently, I wanted to buy a pair of boots because I do love boots, and it's winter in Portugal. And I went to the website and I wanted to check out. But before going to check out, I wanted to select the size of the boots. Button, 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 and button. I tried to zoom in like this, but unfortunately, before being selected, the buttons are faded, which didn't help. So I ended up leaving the website of the brand and going into another website that also sold the boots. And in the end, I asked someone to buy them for me because I couldn't use it. It's so frustrating not to be able to do something so simple as to buy a pair of boots. So again, buttons do describe what the button does, what the action is. It's so important and it's so easy to do. Next is headers. This is a structural thing. It's where you tell both Google and screen readers what's going on. What is the structure of the website, right? What's the main topic? What are the subtopics that you're going to talk about? And again, they're so important both for screen readers because it allows the person to navigate through the text, through the article, through the content, or wherever it is, but also for Google to catalog correctly and understand what keywords should your website and your page be ranked for. So again, very, very important. H1s, H2s, H3s. Do mix and match them, but at least use them and try not to use more than one H1 because it's important to understand that the main title is what Google wants the first time it kind of goes into the page. So have that in mind. Second one is links, anchor texts. And the issue here is the same with the buttons and the images. Again, so many websites tell me that a link is a link, and sometimes when they're fancy, they tell me that an hyperlink is a link. So it's very amusing for me to go through some websites. Again, this is so easy to implement. When you're creating the link, you just say what alt text, what anchor text you want it to be there, and it's done. If this is so important for accessibility, for navigation, because I need to understand, I need to know where to go. For SEO, it's as important because Google needs to understand where to go, needs to know that the next page is as important and as the same context as the previous page for it to kind of provide that information and catalog it and say, no, this is a very cool website. It has all this internal linking set up and it works really well. So it's so important. Just recapping, alt text, button text, headers, and the anchor text. It's basic. And now my screen froze, I think. No, here we go. Next one, titles. Titles, I could have called this metadata. Metadata is what you call your website. It's the title that when people search for your website on Google, it's the first thing that they see, the title and the description. Again, this tells Google what you're all about, what keyword are you focused on, and what you're selling or what you're offering. And for screen readers, it's exactly the same thing. Again, Google crawlers behave in the same way as screen readers. So talking about one is talking about the other one. For me to understand what the website is about is very important. When I'm navigating through my tabs, and I can say that this morning I have, I think it's 37 tabs open on Chrome. It's so important for me to understand that what website is opened where, what title that page has, so that I know exactly where I am and don't get lost, because it happens sometimes. Captions, leaving text a bit and going to captions. This helps everyone, right? Hearing impaired, and you'd think that this doesn't help visually impaired, but it also does, because while providing captions, you're actually providing transcripts of the audio that is being recorded. Something that most brands on YouTube, most YouTubers are doing, is to provide those transcripts on the video itself, sometimes on the description, because it also helps to timestamp and go exactly where I want to go. This is happening with podcasts. It's the same thing. Again, Google and screen readers, they act the same way, and we can navigate through all that text, all that amount of text very easily, and find exactly what we're looking for. And it helps everyone in a sense. It helps to contextualize. TikTok is doing that. I think it always demands that creators do it. Instagram Reels, the same thing. So it's very common to see this now because it's so important, and it has a real impact in visual and hearing impaired people. Again, this is one of those cases where I just got lost. Mobile friendliness. This has been a given for the last about 10, 12 years that we've been doing this. And I was fortunate to find this image as it was described to me, that on the left is what not to do and on the right is the correct way to do it. Mobile friendliness for me sums up to simplicity. Make it simple. Simplify it. If you need the image to be bigger, make it bigger. The button to be bigger, make it bigger. Use the real estate that we now have on the screens. We have 6.7 inches each screen, 6.1, 6.5. So let's use those screens, because even for me, even for a blind person, being able to navigate more easily on the smartphone is so important. Instead of trying to pinpoint the exact place where the link is, or trying to go through the list. So again, mobile friendliness is definitely a feature that caters to both aspects of accessibility and SEO. Oh, again, and this is not working for some reason. Oh, here we go. Keyboard navigation. This goes to structure and how you structure the website. And I'm going to speak more about a few structure related to features. But keyword navigation, again, does not cater only to a specific group of people. It caters to a lot. Some people cannot use the mouse. The navigation is so important through the keyboard, especially for screen readers. I can say that I use, with the screen reader, I only use the keyboard. I go tabs and go through tables with the keyboard. If the website is structured in a nice way, very well structured, if it has a good sitemap that we're going to see in a few slides, the navigation is so smoother for a screen reader, and also for Google, again, because it just knows where to go. It's very easy to follow those breadcrumbs. And site speed. Again, I apologize for these breaks in the flow, but it happens sometimes when a blind person is presenting. So site speed. Again, this kind of speaks for itself. But if it's important for Google that the user experience is good for the user, right? If the experience is good for the user, providing content, loading content fast, can you imagine using a screen reader on a website that it's lagging, that it's slow to load? It's pretty much impossible. And in the beginning, that's what we have. I've been using screen readers for a long time, and I can honestly say that right now the page speed and the difference it's barely noticeable sometimes. This is something that we're very fortunate to have. But Google still looks at it. It looks at the core web vitals. It's something that those that work with SEO, those of you that work with SEO know very well, and sometimes it's a pain to fix. But again, page speed is also important. Lists. Provide content that has lists, listicle articles, listicle content, the top 5, the top 11, the best. That's content that Google loves to consume because it provides very quick to understand information. And for a screen reader, again, it's so easy to navigate. Tab, 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 tab. Go through all the titles, go through all the hyperlinks, and I know exactly where I am. I know exactly what I'm talking about or what I'm reading about, and it's so easy. Going into breadcrumbs, and if I'm not mistaken, breadcrumbs, like I said before, breadcrumbs is another way to provide navigation, not just for Google, but especially for screen readers and I mean for everyone. It's so easy to access the breadcrumbs as a navigation menu. I use that a lot, and I still use it as that because I can just again tab and understand where I am: home, product A or product B or product category or whatever it is that I'm looking for. It's a very easy way to catalog, and a very easy way for Google to understand where it is. Again, Google, when he's categorizing your website, cataloging your website, he needs to understand the relationship between the pages. One of the most common errors that I get on SEMrush is orphan pages that don't have any links to them or to other pages. So that breadcrumb kind of prevents those orphan pages to exist because you always know, always have at least one link to them, and always a good thing to have. Color schemes. Color schemes are a tricky thing because there are so many people that have different ways and different disabilities and different issues or conditions. You have people that prefer yellow on blue, people that prefer pink on blue or blue on pink. So there's so many other prefer black and white. So there's so many. But the idea for me here, the takeaway is to try and use high contrast colors. For example, myself, I can still see the difference between what's on the left and what's on the right. So I know where the margin is. And like me, many other million people kind of love to know that, especially with buttons, for example. It's very common that buttons are the same color or just faded. And accessibility wise, that's just a no-no. Try to put those buttons with high contrast. You still can design a very beautiful website. You just have to be creative, I'd say. Again, let me just focus here on what this is all about. Oh, so sitemap. Yeah, I already mentioned this, but sitemap it's the basis of the website. Is where the screen reader kind of goes and it knows exactly where it is. You can navigate to tabs, to arrows. Google does the same thing. It's the first thing that actually Google reads from your website is the sitemap. Is where he understands where everything is, and if there's something broken there, he's gonna let you know, in the sense that he's not gonna rank that page for very well. For screen readers, is the same thing, exactly the same thing. There's no difference on behavior. Semantic HTML is something that I've been pushing for in every company that I work for, just because it's such a simple way to organize the content, right? I work with blogs, I work with other kinds of content, but I always try to convey to the developers that this is so much easier to organize the content on the page. If I say that the section has one article, one image, and one header, I can take that section, put it anywhere else, and it will survive by on its own. And Google will understand what the section is, and understand that the image is in the same context as the header and as the article. The same way goes for the article. I know that the whole article, not just some paragraphs, the whole article relates to a specific topic, and that's much easier for navigation and for SEO. And for accessibility, we do have all the screen readers have a capability of going through the types of content that we want to go through. For example, titles, hyperlinks, or or containers for content. So that's something that I personally like to navigate through, and always try to push in every company that I work for. Okay, that part is over. The 13-point list of what intersections goes between accessibility and SEO. And I want to focus on tools right now, just because there are so many different tools. These are the ones I use, that I like to use, that I go to. I do use some other Chrome extensions, Firefox extensions, and so on to kind of go into more depth and to go more deep into things. But so SEO wise, I do focus on SEMrush and Ahrefs. I think they are the best. That provide really cool insights. The audits are very good. I've used others like DeepCrawl and so on, but these two are my go-to. Not only because they are accessible, I can navigate through them with the screen reader. So accessibility is not just about the websites, right? It's also about the tools that we use to make sure that those websites are accessible. And in my field, SEO, I'm fortunate enough to have these two tools that are fairly accessible, despite having some tooltips that I actually don't like to when they show up, but it is what it is. Lighthouse is a tool that I use both for SEO and accessibility, because it not only analyzes the websites, but also provides the possible answers and possible solutions to the problem that you're having. So that's something that I always like to extract and provide to the team that's working with me, because it's very detailed, and they seem to like that very, very much. Accessibility wise, I also use Rocket Validator and then Wave and a few others, but these are the ones that I usually those are my go-to, that tell me what exactly is wrong with the websites. Again, they do tell me a lot of times that alt texts are missing, but because I'm working with SEO at the same time, I usually solve one problem, one problem with different tools. It doesn't matter where I come from. If I come from SEO side or the accessibility side, the issue is going to be solved either way. So that's a good thing. And automation. I'm sure most of you will know Yoast for WordPress. It's an automation tool that provides metadata, especially title and description, which helps a lot when you have like 500, 600 pages where you have to do that manually. So Yoast goes in and does that the best way it can. And then I do mention two other things, two automation tools. They are Userway and Accessibility. They are called overlays, and overlays, they're pretty much software that you install in the website, usually by just implementing a tag on the code, and they have access to the website, and they can improve accessibility of the website. They can change font size, they can change colors, they can change a lot of things. My take on overlays is that I do not use overlay. I do not like to use overlays, just because I've had bad experiences with them. As a screen reader user, overlays are not themselves the most accessible thing in the world. I'm a believer, and I believe that overlays came up because the United States had a huge increase in lawsuits against websites that were not accessible, that were not compliant with ADA. So that was one of the reasons why overlays kind of had a boost because they market themselves as this problem-solving software that will stop you from getting sued. I'd say that's not the best way to go about accessibility. Also because some of the times they don't work. They don't provide the right accessibility for the right person. But again, it's just my take on this, a very personal one as a user, as a blind user of websites. Sorry. I'm sure that you're wondering, how does all of this affect the business? Well, do you remember the 2.2 billion people that I mentioned before? That's a huge potential target audience. Even if you target 0.1%, it's going to be a lot of millions. So again, having a website accessible, it's not just because us blind people or people with disability want it. It's just because there are so many other people that are not classified as disabled or special needs or whatever you want to call it. There are so many people that do have some needs to access to the internet that if you don't apply this to your website in this case, you are losing a lot of potential customers. The other thing I like to focus is that when you're doing accessibility from scratch, you're already doing SEO and the vice versa. So you can kind of approach two major things on just one go. You don't have to spend money on individual implementations, right? You can just approach them at the same time, and it will work for you. And again, increasing the pool and increasing the potential targets, you'll most definitely increase your user experience, the user experience. You'll have happier people. Your reputation will grow. I mean, this is the snowball, right? You do one thing and just keeps adding up to the positive things, to the benefits. Key takeaways. This pretty much sums up what I just said, is that accessibility allows you to get to more people. It's something that you need to do because you want to do, not because you want to market it, but because you need to do. And you don't have to start big. You can start small. You can start with smaller things. Change the images, change the alt text on the images. You don't need it. You don't need a developer for that. You just need to do it. To go in back office, whatever it is, and just do it. The same with the buttons. The same with the link. So you can start small and go from there. But once you start, don't stop. Don't stop, because it's an ongoing process. It's something that you need to do, and you need to keep doing it. As much as you need to keep doing SEO, as much as you need to keep providing content to your blog or to your website, to wherever you're dealing with. So do it, start small, and don't stop. That's my takeaway from this. And yeah, I think I went a bit fast, but thank you so much, and I'm open for any questions that you might have.
Thank you, Pedro. Also, I wanted to say that it's totally fine with the breaks, because we're overall happy that you were able to join us today. And I think that you inspired a lot of people out there.
That's so nice of you to say that. It's something that I try to do. It's I try to go into everything I do with that fresh perspective on the person I'm talking to. Doesn't need to know that I'm blind or not. Just needs to, and if he doesn't know, I will tell him about it, because I love to talk about this. I love to speak about the things that are being done, not just by me, but from all the community. I've been listening to all the speakers here, and they're doing amazing things in their fields, in their companies. And if I inspire by experience, by example, they inspire by example as much as I do. So yeah, but thank you so much for that.
Okay, moving on with the Q&A session. I was actually curious, do you think that it's ethical for a company to market themselves as a digitally accessible product?
Uh, I mean, ethically, yeah, there's nothing wrong about it. My issue with that is when you do accessibility. I mean, as long as you do it, okay, I guess. But if you do it to use it on your marketing materials, I'd say that you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And sometimes it matters. Sometimes it matters why you are doing things. I'd rather focus on a company that surprises me when I go to the website and I oh, they're accessible right now. That's amazing. They're so cool. And then they didn't make a fuss about it. Than to go and read about a company that is pushing PRs, is pushing press releases saying, oh, now we're accessible. Again, I get it. It's a good thing that you're doing it, but for me personally, sometimes the reasons do matter.
All right.
Good. And it's important for the company to, and I guess it is for you a lot cooler when you see a company doing it just because they believe it's the right thing, not immediately just using it so they can put out a release saying we're accessible now. It's a lot more fun when it's a genuine push.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And the same goes for when companies say that they're inclusive and all that. I mean, just be. Don't you don't need to advertise it, I'd say.
I mean, let the actions speak louder than
Exactly.
Exactly.
Speak for
That's
themselves.
Hey, that's exactly it.
So next question, are there any specific regulations or guidelines that could directly connect accessibility standards to SEO practices? Maybe there's some standards or guidelines out there that just by following them, you're already creating a great SEO like experience off the bat.
Yeah, so no guidelines regarding accessibility. None of them mention SEO. But when you follow the WCAG, the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines from the W3 Consortium, if you just follow them, your website is going to be search engine optimized. Because again, all that I've mentioned before, all those 13 features, they are mentioned on the WCAG. And if you do them, your website is going to be SEO optimized, like hands down.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once you
it's
follow
easy.
the
It's
guidelines,
it's
you're
easier
good
than
to
we
go.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, if I might just to tell you a story about the following guidelines. So a friend of mine a few years ago, like 10, 12 years ago, he developed an app it was for the iPhone, for iOS, and it was called AirPad because you could play drums with the iPhone. So the iPhone would be your drumstick. And it had 10 areas with 10 different sounds. So the tom, the snare, the hi-hat, and the cymbals, so on. And because I love drumming, and I want in another life I'll definitely be a drummer. And he gave me the app for me to try, and he just said try this one. Okay, I downloaded it, installed it, played with it, set it up. I love the app. I do love the app. I don't have it right now because it's not optimized for the 15 Pro, but I love the app. And I told him, man, thank you so much for thinking about me, thinking about accessibility, man. I love you so much for that. And he said, is it accessible? Yes. Oh, I just followed the developer's kit. That's all I did. Okay, thank you the same for that. So if you follow guidelines, those especially these guidelines for accessibility, you're on your way. Like you're done. That's a really that's a plus, I'd say.
Yeah. Just easy as that. Follow the guidelines.
Just as easy as that, exactly.
All right, Pedro, if there was a message you could deliver to a young SEO specialist, what would it be?
Change areas. That's my go-to. I do say this as a joke because I do think that there's still a space, but AI is here. It's no longer like it's not 100% accurate. No, it's not. But it's so close, and we have so many tools that already can go in and take care of most technical stuff, most of the technical issues. You have AI that already writes amazing content. So looking to the future, I think that, and I'm speaking about, let's say, the Western world, where we are much ahead with that. I think the future for SEO, it's going to be tricky. This being said, I've witnessed people saying that when the voice search came along, oh, now the SEO is gonna the SEO field is gonna be changed. Now Google is gonna change, and nothing changed. Actually, nothing changed. We still go in and we still go into the search box and we still type in the keywords that we want to search. So if you're already working as an SEO, as junior as you may be, keep up with the trends. I think that's the best thing I can say. Keep up with the trends. If you're not on SEO and you're thinking about it, think about something else. Like, I'm as honest as I can be.
I mean, in general, if you choose a career in IT, you have to be ready that you have to study and learn for your whole life. Is it right?
Yeah, completely right. Like I've been doing this for 16, 17 years, and I'm still learning. I still follow the trends. I still go into those experts that are even more experts than I am, and see, okay, what are they doing? What's going on? What's that's it. What's going on? What's up with the SEO world? So yeah, definitely don't stop learning.
Nice. Okay. Useful advice for young SEO marketers out there. Next question. You've already told us about that drum app that you had an excellent experience with. Have you had any personal experience where there was a digital product that you like, but there was accessibility issues holding it back?
Digital, yeah. Many. For example, games. And again, I'm not saying that the games need to be accessible for everyone. I'm not that person. I don't believe that. The same way that I don't go to the movies and expect that it's going to be accessible for me, that there's the person doing audio description, because that's just not feasible. It's too much for the outcome. I understand that. But there are some games, for example, Minesweeper, and like those, like simple games that I love and I can no longer play. And I get so frustrated with that. So at the moment, I don't play anything else. I just do that. Otherwise, there are some workarounds for not for games, but for example, for watching TV, let's say. So in Portugal, there are a few providers, TV providers. Only one has an accessible app, and it's only for Apple TV. So my frustration here is that, okay, there is one accessible one, there is one that works, but it kind of forces me to spend money on an equipment that otherwise I wouldn't have to spend. So that's my frustration sometimes. It's not that I cannot use that product, that digital product, is that for me to use it, I do have to go the extra mile, and I do have to spend more money than I'm going to use the word normal here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, good answer.
It is what
that was
yeah.
well versed.
Okay. Pedro, one of the digital user groups are content creators. How can a content creator contribute to accessibility with the content they actually create?
Well, for me, content creator, I'm thinking about either, let's say TikToker, YouTuber, or even a blogger, like the old-fashioned blogger that writes text. The best way for, like, the baseline for me is, if you're going to do something, if you're going to create a content, make it useful, right? Make it interesting. I think that's a given. But apart from that, if you're a YouTuber, if you're a TikToker, or Instagrammer, make sure that your videos have captions, that your videos have descriptions. And that's already something that the apps provide. They already provide the space for you to do that. If you're doing like just pictures, fortunately, Meta is working on the Meta AI that actually provides really good descriptions, and they work together with the screen reader. So you're kind of off the hook on that. But do use descriptions everywhere. And when thinking about the written content, written articles, just go through the list that I mentioned before. Is make clear titles, clear headers. Say what should. I mean, be creative with that, but be also very clear. Use descriptions on the images. I mean, that's it. Those are the things. Try to make a balance between being accessible or thinking about how people are consuming your content and your creativity and what you want to put out there. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
that's good.
And this is actually a helpful tip for content creators. For example, short form videos that they can go into the apps and enable these closed captions.
Exactly. That's a good point. And for example, Google provides, sorry, not Google, YouTube provides timestamps, which is good. But sometimes as a screen reader user, I cannot see that. So having the transcripts on the description, where I can see where the topic that I want to listen to is, it's very, very useful. The same goes for podcasts. Some podcast clients allow the timestamps to be very fluid. Others don't. For example, iOS, the iOS apps is not there yet. Yeah, I think it's getting there, but it's not there yet. So one of the podcasts that I listen to, they always provide those timestamps as a transcript, as a text. So this kind of simple things that you can do that help a lot.
Thank you. We've also been checking our stream chat, and we have some comments saying you had a very useful and informative presentation and talk. So
nice.
thank you on that, Mark. And we do have
I'm happy.
an additional question. So with the upcoming stricter legislation, specifically also in the European Union, as someone who encounters accessibility issues daily, do you plan to actively report sites with serious activity problems? And if you do you plan to hold bigger companies to a higher standard?
The second part is what I like to operate. I do believe that sometimes I don't know if the word ignorance. I'm not using it as a negative term. It's just not having the knowledge. Let's say sometimes the knowledge is not there. Sometimes the people that create the website, they don't know how to approach this, because let's be honest, digital accessibility it's still a fairly not recent but new thing, or unknown thing for most developers, for most people that work in the industry, in the marketing or whatever. So my first assumption is, okay, they don't know. So my first take will be to kind of reach out, and I've done this before, websites that I like, of brands that I like, I've reached out and say, guys, you should do this. Just because I'm a user, otherwise I won't be able to be a client or to be a customer or to be a follower or whatever. So I've done that before, and something that I will keep on doing is to give the benefit of the doubt, to inform, hey guys, do you know that you can do something about the accessibility issues that you have on your website? And if like a few months from then nothing is done, or yeah, maybe I'll report them just because.
No, that also touches on something we heard earlier. If you remember, Mara, she mentioned in her talk that Bolt pushed an update to an app that actually made it difficult for people with screen readers to choose the vehicle of their type, and it's through getting that feedback that they were able to very quickly fix the issue. So it is sometimes just a case of not knowing and not negligence, just as you said, a bit of ignorance.
That's exactly it. Look, even let's be honest, even Apple, when they release an update to the iOS or a fix or whatever, sometimes things don't work. There are specific minor things that just stop working because they were looking at the bigger picture. And yes, I'm not a Bolt user for that exact reason. I cannot use the Bolt app on my phone. It takes me too much time to ask for a car, so I only use Uber. Fortunately, Uber is kept their accessibility, I would say, between, I'm going to be really nice here, between 70 and 90%, let's say. Because depending on the update that they do, they kind of mess up what they did before. But still, it's always very accessible. And the same goes for the food delivery apps. Uber Eats does not work as well as Uber, for example. Glovo and Bolt Food are just awful to use. So yeah, it goes to show that when they don't know, they cannot fix it. We need to tell them.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so not immediately reporting everyone.
Yeah, no, because that would be like me saying every time I go into the street, every time I use my stick, my cane, my white cane. If someone goes to me and bumps into me and says, "Oh, what you're doing? Oh, careful!" If I need to tell them, even though I have the stick, I apologize. I didn't see you. And the reaction most of the time is that awkward silence. And sorry, dude. Yeah, so sorry. So I can't go reporting that person, or in worst case scenario hitting them just because they said I can see, or I don't know. So I draw the parallel there. I cannot blow up every time someone does not understand that I'm blind. I need to educate them. Hey guys, sorry, I can't see that. Can you make it like this or that? And I use the same mindset for the internet, for apps, for everything. Is, hey guys, I can't use this because of this. Can you do something about it? And then let's see how they react. Sometimes the reaction tells me more about the company than whatever is on the website. So yeah.
But also, touching the feedback part, it's very important what is the actual feedback. If you give a feedback that, for example, your app is bad, accessibility is bad, it's so general, like they can't make any changes.
They can't pinpoint the issue.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
feedback has to be constructive, pinpointing what is the issue.
Exactly. My advice is, even if you don't know anything about accessibility, is describe what you want to do and what you cannot do. Like, just describe it.
Exactly.
I want to order a car for this point, but I cannot use the map because. So that's it. That's my advice.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, Pedro, thank you for joining us today. It was a pleasure meeting
pleasure.
you.
Thank you for being part of QualityForge. The presentation was outstanding, as we've seen by the feedback we've seen in the live comment.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it was very fun.
So thank you
Awesome.
again, and have
Okay,
a wonderful
I'm so
day.
glad. I'm so glad. Thank you so much for having me. And I really want to just one more shout out. Thank you to all of you, to you guys, the hosts, and also the people that are in the back office. They helped a lot, and they had so much patience for me. So trying to put this together. So thank you so much for that. Thank you for inviting me. It was a real pleasure being here.
And
All the
thank you
best.
for
Thank you.
coming. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.